Perfect choice.
To Miami Beach.
Jason, are we usually in a New York state of mind?
I mean, I can't help it. We live here.
Exactly. I think we really have too many options.
I'm in a New York state of mind.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Granny's Peach Tea, episode 229. For those who are still counting that type of thing, yes, me and Jason usually see all the movie stars, limousines, and all of that, because we're always, like you said, in a New York state of mind.
But I'll say this: as a guy who grew up in New York, I have seen, with very few exceptions, the C list of celebrities.
Okay.
Right?
I have a weird list.
So we both have met Ed Koch because he came to our high school.
Yes, this is true.
Okay. I have seen Gabrielle Anwar.
Okay.
Do you know who that is?
No, I don't. It sounds kind of familiar, but I can't say like I guarantee knows who it is.
She does. Unless you watch that show Burn Notice as obsessively as I did, there's no reason to know. But she was in that. And I saw her in like a museum. But then I also met George Takei. He blessed my wedding. Because I met him for my wedding, picking up my tux when I worked in the city. And then I saw Owen Wilson.
That's a good one. Mobius.
Great.
Yeah.
That was a great one. And I was with my wife, and she had seen him before. And she was looking at me, waiting for me to notice him. And I went, "Oh my God, is that?" And she goes, "I've seen him before."
Can't just shut somebody's celebrity sighting down like that. That's not cool.
That's what she does.
keeps you in check.
Exactly.
Yeah. But what's up, everybody? Thanks for joining us on this Sunday evening. As we got a lot of comic book TV to talk about here. And yes, we're opening up with Billy Joel's New York State of Mind. For those who watched Daredevil Born Again this week, you can know why. I mean, I'm not a banana milkshake guy, more of a chocolate milkshake guy. You could have went that route too. I think I should try a banana milkshake though.
I think you should.
In honor of it. Have you ever had one?
I'm one of those like heathens who love banana ice cream.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah,
I didn't know that. Yeah. All right, interesting. But yeah, and well, there's also the Bel Air Diner we have a connection to.
That was wild. That was
really random. Really random. Even though it's not located on like 40-something and 10th and Hell's Kitchen whatsoever. It's in a freaking different borough. Sorry for those people who don't live in New York. It's in Queens.
Yeah, seriously.
It's not even close.
Manhattan cannot take all the good things from Queens. Leave Queens be. Queens is the best.
Queens has its own, like, we have a lot of our own cool shit too. So. Not a lot of diners in Manhattan. So I guess but yeah, thanks for joining us. We got a lot of stuff to talk about here. We got Invincible. We got The Boys is back for its final season. We got Daredevil, all bangers all over the place. We're eating great now as old comic book movie fans and TV show fans. So we got a full episode of TV. But I am Ed, and with me as always is Jason. Jason, I didn't say it before because I was saving it for now. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you, my friend.
Happy birthday, my friend. Yeah.
Thank you. And actually, it's funny because I was going to say, and thank you for remembering, by the way. I just didn't expect you to remember. But once on the show, I think it was during Transformers. I was so angry I had to do shots on the show, right? But today I want to do a little something different. I want to share. I usually have a scotch on the rocks for my birthday.
Okay.
Usually it's better than Black Label, though I do like Black Label. But I've been solo parenting for the last couple of days, so I couldn't get out and get anything. But I am going to share my birthday scotch with you and our audience while we talk about this fine lineup of stuff.
All right. Well, hey, listen. Cheers. Happy birthday, my friend. And here's to a fun show, a fun time to talk about great stuff here.
We got great stuff. We got great stuff to catch up on. But before, can I show you the two of my friends, right? Got me gifts because they came over for dinner last night.
Okay.
This is the Brain Gremlin from the action figure.
Oh boy.
From
man.
the best sequel ever made. But then, and this one, I couldn't stop laughing. This is a Columbo cookbook, Cooking with Columbo.
I don't even want to say. My first thought was, why do these things exist? But honestly, everything exists now. Like almost anything you could dream up exists now.
When you know, I always ask, who's the audience for this? The audience for this is me.
Yes. And that's all that matters. That's all that matters.
I now want to have a Columbo party where we watch an episode and I cook the dish because every episode has its own dish. So we could maybe have some Dick Van Dyke's breast of chicken Florentine while we watch Dick Van Dyke murder someone.
Okay, that sounds like it would be fun.
Or Ben Gazzara's leg of lamb, Sicilian style. That sounds like a mob hit.
Oh my god. So hold on, how many episodes of Columbo are there?
Oh, there are a lot of episodes.
No, I would imagine there are, but like, I mean, back then, what was it, 24 episodes a season?
Well, no, they were different. It wasn't like that. Columbo, because they were an hour and a half, so they were really like mini movies.
Interesting.
And so they only had maybe 4 or 5 episodes a season.
Oh, okay.
And they ran for like 7 or 8 seasons, and then after that, they just never stopped putting out movies until Peter Falk retired.
Wow, it's so interesting to me though to look back on a lot of the shows when we were kids that came out and prior, because I feel like we don't remember them exactly the way they were. Because like I watch a lot of the stuff on YouTube where these dudes like explain what happened to like the cartoons and stuff like that and like the animated stuff, and they relate the toy line to the series. And there's so many wild stories like with Masters of the Universe and Mask and Transformers and all of that, and it's fascinating.
Yeah, becoming an adult and realizing all of that was these shows that I was so beloved to me and these characters that I dreamed about and wanted to be and wanted to hang out with were just things, commercials to sell me toys.
Exactly.
I mean,
and that's part of the challenge of adapting them to like full-length movies.
Absolutely, because it's like you've got to, and we've talked about that, you've got to get that mixture of nostalgia, but it also can't be the cheap cash grab the original was, because the audience isn't 5 anymore.
Yeah, and you're trying to pull those people in because they have money now to spend on your product, so you need to give them something to like really kind of like sink their teeth into to an extent. So
exactly, and honestly, I think we're living in an age. I mean, look at someone who has tons of action figures right behind them. We're living in an age where I think action figures are really more for marketed for adults. You have action figures for kids, but I think the money makers are the adult ones.
Yeah, because you can charge all these like crazy prices for them, and like no one else is buying them except adults. No, that's a good point. It's a good point. All right, so like we mentioned, we got a lot of stuff to jump into here, so let's do it then. So let's head over to Amazon Prime Video or Prime or whatever the hell we're calling it these days. I'm going to drop that spoiler ticker across the bottom and leave it there because we are talking about all these episodes, full spoilers. So if you haven't seen the specific thing, come back and check us out another time. But we've given it some time to breathe. The show's been out since Wednesday, and that's that. So, all right, you've been warned. Jason, this was a pretty heavy episode, and not to go like Doc Brown, because like my mind went to Doc Brown. Why are they so heavy?
It's going to be the future. Is there a problem with Earth's gravitational pull?
Exactly. I don't know why. Yeah, this was a pretty emotionally deep episode. I found it to be from the Nolan Oliver perspective. I mean, the other side, not as much. Like we got the war, But then there was some really heavy lifting on that part of things.
Oh, again, I think this episode did exactly what the last episode did: is it balances the outer conflict of the war with the inner conflict of now it's Nolan and Mark's brother, right? Having their Oliver, thank you, having their moment. And as opposed to Mark and Nolan, which we've kind of already seen before, right? Mm-hmm. And the beautiful thing is the stuff with Nolan and Oliver is all mundane survival. We've got to go hunt these things. We've got to keep Mark alive. I can train you. No, I want to talk about we find out that Oliver overheard what he said about his mother never loving him, and Nolan kind of has to backtrack. And I do love that moment because I do feel that he's telling the truth there, because he's like, I just thought that was what I needed to say to make her feel better, and I'm not good at this, and all of that emotional stuff, but there is no real action on that scene except for the training montage, which was fucking awesome. And then in the war, it's all balls to the wall fighting. It's it's mass destruction. We finally find out who the mole is, and I had a theory and I was wrong, so I'll out myself when we get there. And then it ends with, and Mark comes back. Mark's feeling good because they've healed him, which, again, you have to hand wave that, because that kid's guts they were all over the floor.
All right, I wanted to talk about that because last week we left off with like, all right, we obviously know Mark isn't dead because he is. Damn it. But he was gutted like a fish. He was done. Okay. And you would have assumed it was like a wrap for him. But I guess whatever. When you have powers to that level, you can just go with it.
What are you gonna do? Because again, I think the viscera was more symbolic than it was meant to be taken, realistically, which I discussed last week. So I'm okay with it. It's like, what are they going to do? They're going to kill Invincible? Get the fuck out of here. That's never going to happen. It's except maybe in the last episode. I don't know how this comic ends, but
yeah. I just kind of thought it would have been more than just let's wrap him up and he'll heal by getting protein from eggs and fed, whatever the hell that they were killing, because they obviously had like you mentioned, they had a fight for survival, and that's what basically Oliver and Nolan are doing the majority of the episode. They're killing these things, and Oliver's learning that he had to start liking some of it, and he kind of started to. But I don't know. I just kind of felt like there would have been more. There would have been something else to it, but whatever. It didn't ruin anything for me. I just kind of wanted more. And it went on for months. I mean, this episode spans multiple months.
Oh my god, I didn't realize that at first until I'm like, wait a minute, Mark's got a beard, Nolan's gone gray. Also, has Nolan been dyeing his hair?
Question. I don't know. It started raising more questions about Nolan Viltrumite hair dye. I think I agree with you. I think maybe something more could have been made of it. But I think that the point in that moment wasn't supposed to be him healing, but the family healing. You know what I mean? The rift between the boys and Nolan, because they do come back stronger. He does start Oliver does start asking about his mother. He does start training. And I think they're responding to Nolan's honesty about I'm not good at this. I don't do this, but I'm trying. I want to be better for you guys. And, I think that's, again, this is a cartoon or animated show about fucking superhero violence, and they continuously bring in this emotional depth to it for these characters, which again, it's brilliant writing and brilliant layering and brilliant world building. Yeah, one of my favorite things with, like you mentioned, the growth of it, and a lot of it is Nolan growing to get his humanity, you want to say, right? Because in the last episode, it gets called out for him not being that. He's just like a photo of a, or whatever you want to call it, a tracing of a human being. But in this, he starts to learn how hard it is to kind of have humanity for some, right? Like for someone who doesn't. And part of it I thought was really interesting was when they go to get the eggs for the extra protein for Mark, and there's this mother laying these eggs, and Oliver's the one who kind of shows him like, hey, if we kill the mother, she can't lay more eggs. And all she was doing was protecting her eggs, so she wasn't doing anything wrong. And Nolan catches himself and he's like, you're right. And then you see them during a training montage go back there, and they kind of distract her and stuff, and they take her eggs, like whatever. Say what you will about that, but I also understand from Nolan's point of view, he's also trying to save his son.
Yes, and I think that's the implication is they're both attacking each other, but neither of them are right or wrong. It's not about justice, right and wrong. It's about survival. You know, the mother wants her eggs to protect her kin, the same as Nolan wants to protect his son. Yeah. And I think that's the point, right? Nolan's idea as a Viltrumite is, you challenge me, I fucking obliterate your planet. Yeah. And what Oliver shows him is, just because you're challenged doesn't mean you're enemies.
Exactly. And it's interesting that his teenage son is the one that's teaching him that. So I think it is a fascinating redemption arc for Nolan throughout this. And this episode and the last two episodes have done a lot to kind of further that, on a really emotional level with both of his sons. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and I can't wait till the end of the season when I love Nolan and he's finally redeemed himself. And in the middle of everyone feeling good, someone puts a fucking fist through his face out of nowhere,
Yeah, unfortunately, if I had to guess.
You know how this show rolls.
Yeah, it's unfortunately, I think so. Right when we're feeling good about Nolan, completely, and he's kind of made his, maybe he makes amends for as much as he can, right? Because there's also that part of the conversation where he's like, hey, my time with your mother taught me that there maybe is a chance for me to find my way back.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really interesting too, to learn, that's kind of what he was learning there. So I thought that was pretty cool.
I thought that was super awesome. And again, I love the idea of the children teaching the parent to be better. Again, I talk a lot about generational trauma and healing it and how it's been showing up, so symbolically in our media. And again, we have it here, right? Like the children showing the abusive parents a better way. Because look, Nolan is an abusive parent.
Yeah, no ifs, ands, buts about it. And I thought that was cool too during the training thing. Because we saw how Nolan got trained. And he didn't try to kill Oliver, and he was kind of smiled when Oliver landed some shots on him eventually.
Yeah, he was proud of him instead of when he got trained, they had to talk the mother out of killing him anyway, exactly. Even though he held his own. But we also remember how he trained Mark. I mean, he was very hard on Mark, and that training, one second, buddy, that training rises into all of that. And yeah, so I'm sorry, give me 1 second.
Yeah, sure, no problem. So there is some stuff there too, and we also, got the war, right? And we have that whole thing there where, you get, Tech Jacket, who we found out more. I questioned last week, where is her ability? How strong is he? Why is she recruited for this? Well, we find out her damn suit can go ahead and create an entire, besides video games, because her and Alan Alien are playing a lot of video games in this thing, and are apparently being created by this suit. It's basically forms this kind of this ship, and they're hiding, and they have that whole thing there, and they fly. Oh, it's just, there's a lot. I can see more of her power now, of why she was wanted by the whole rebellion that's there in this episode. It is pretty all crazy too how we do get where the Viltrumites are getting pushed to the brink of stuff, and they respond back by attacking the traitor, as they referred to him as, right at his home planet, and they just completely like obliterate the whole thing. Like they just take the fight to him, and that was interesting, wiping out a lot of the people that were around him that were helping the rebellion. Right. All right, Jason. I was just continuing to just mention like I'm on board with Tech Jacket and how powerful and why she was recruited, because I questioned that last week.
Yeah,
Now
no,
you can see
she kind
why.
of she shows it because the it's alien tech with the little girl inside, which I think is a super like it's a DC trope, which I love to see, and she really does hold her own. And I actually love that moment. I don't know if you talked about it because I kept breaking up when I had to go tend to my son, but
Yeah.
When Alan the alien comes back for her,
Yeah.
and throws her and knows that he's gonna get the shit beat out of him, and then I didn't see this coming because there's so much going on in this episode. I forgot about like the getting the band back together from a couple of episodes ago. So when this guy shows up and puts a hole in one of these Viltrumites, I'm like, oh, it was like so satisfying.
Yeah, no, I forgot that dude's name who has like this the gun that's there, and he just blows the hole through him and he saves him. Then the other guy just takes off. He's like, "Yeah, I'll get you next time," and just kind of like takes off with that. But I was also mentioning how like the Viltrumites go and they attack the home planet straight head on and basically wipe out a lot of them outside of like our main characters, of course.
Yeah, right. Of course, they do, but they are beaten. Right? I mean, they do get beaten back, and I think they're on the. I mean, yes, it's when the Invincible team comes back, but they were on the precipice of getting beaten back anyway. Like I think they'd even said like, "Oh, maybe we're in too deep here," which I thought that was interesting because they just brought the war home, and then you find out that, and this then we'll talk. Now we'll talk about it. You find out who this. They've been talking to a mole this whole season. And the mole turns out to be just some guy who works for them. Like, I don't even think we've seen him before.
No, I don't think so either.
And I don't know. That felt kind of anticlimactic because such a big thing was made about it. But I thought it was cool that he was like, all right, you got me, but they're still going to beat us. I mean, I just wanted to survive. What do you want from me?
Yeah, right.
So who did you think the mole was? Or like, because I did have a theory and I just was holding back because I didn't want to be proven wrong. But now that I have been proven wrong, I'll cop to it. But did you have one?
No, I'm going to be honest. They kind of had me guessing with this one. I had a kind of tough time nailing it. No, not really. Who did you think?
I thought, honestly, because it's this show, I thought it was going to be the betrayer, the Viltrumite that started this thing. I thought like we were going to find out that he was the mole, that he was working both sides against each other because he's a betrayer. Like I thought it was going to be some super twist like that. I don't know if I would have liked that, but that's what I thought it was going to be.
I can't have Peter Cullen as a betrayer.
No, I know.
I can't. Yeah, that would mess me up. I would know.
He's doing a fantastic job in this, and I dug the fight stuff, and then I hope you didn't bring him up when I wasn't here.
No,
because
I'm saving it.
Battle Beast is back.
Battle Beast is back, and he was guaranteed more battle.
Yes,
I thought that was awesome, and he's dude. There was that scene during the fight montage where he beats the crap out of these dudes, and he's like wearing their blood on his face.
Oh yeah. Oh, he's no joke, and I love that it's voiced by Michael Dorn.
Yeah,
Star Trek's Mr. Worf. I think he says something about having no honor or something in this, or the honor of battle. I was like, oh my god, Worf just said honor.
Oh man, I thought of you when I saw Battle Beast, and you knew he was going to get into the battle.
And he doesn't have many exactly. He doesn't have much to say, but I love like Alan comes back on the ship. He has a tense moment with the captain, his girlfriend, and I thought maybe he was pissed because she separated the saucer, but they move on, which is good. But she's like, well, someone came on board, and they'll only speak to you. And it was at that point I went, oh no, I know who this is. And then when he was like, I was promised more battle. You must give me more battle. And I was like, yes.
So and I'm going to put air quotes, mid-credit, post-credit scene.
Yes.
Which we find out.
Remind me what they were. I watched it a couple days ago.
So apparently, what's his face? Damn it, I can't believe I'm drawing a blank right now. There's a chance he could still be alive. Conquest.
Oh, right. Oh, yes.
You get the rumble moving and everything.
Yes, you do get the rumble moving. Which, God, let this guy die already. Though there was a nice moment that I forgot to talk about where where Oliver's mad that Nolan buried Conquest.
Yeah.
And Nolan was like, you don't understand. He was a good Viltrumite. He served the Empire well. And it's like, so I love that duality that Nolan still holds.
Yeah, because I think Nolan's still he still acknowledges that those were his people. Yes. Granted, they're misguided and everything, what they're doing is wrong, but yeah, he's still somewhat conflicted on a certain level of it, at least, I'll say.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, so Conquest might be alive. I'd rather not, to be honest.
I agree with you because there has to be some stakes for the show at some point.
Right.
We can't just have the fake death after fake death.
Right, exactly. And it made sense last time because Mark thought he ended him and Cecil kind of betrayed Mark on that. So that makes sense. But Mark ended him.
Yeah.
Sometimes
dead is dead.
Yeah, right. And if you wouldn't do that, then what was the point of all of that?
I don't know. I'm curious to see how that shakes out, or I don't know.
Yeah, so we'll see.
I'm not sure how I feel about that.
I trust the show. But they'll have to work a little harder to get me back on board if Conquest is still alive, and especially because I felt so satisfied that he was killed. And there are other cool Viltrumites,
Yeah, we don't need to keep having him. And I know you got Jeffrey Dean Morgan to be here and all of that, but we don't need to do that. We don't have to keep going back to that one.
Right, exactly.
So, all right, we'll see. Dude, only 2 episodes left in the season for Invincible.
Man, I'm always sad to see when it comes to an end because I genuinely love this show. When the show ends, I'm gonna wait a little bit. And then I'm going to do a full rewatch from start to finish, binge watching.
Oh, wow, okay.
Because I didn't appreciate, I'd say, the first half of that first season.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to start it up now because I'm a completionist.
Yeah.
So I want to wait till whenever it finishes. But I do want to go back and give that first season a relook through my eyes now as someone who really understands what the show's about.
I think that'd be pretty cool.
I'll do a little catching up with Mr. J when it happens.
All right. So, also on Prime, also on Wednesday, The Boys season 5 kicked off. First 2 episodes.
Speaking of catching up with Mr. J, I believe this was the thing that the very first segment was when I was catching up from The Boys.
Because I think we jumped in.
Season 3?
Jump in season 2 or 3 maybe or something like that?
2 or 3, yeah.
Possible, yeah. I feel like, that's the case because this show's been on for a minute. So.
Yeah, no, it's been on for a while. But man, these 2 episodes, how are we going to separate them? How are we not going to separate them? How are we going to, because usually we'll just gloss over, and I guess we have to for time's sake, but Ed, that first episode.
Yeah, the first episode, I mean, this season, they came out swinging for me,
big last season energy right off the fucking gate.
Yeah, we pick up with the boys, right? Like part of the crew, and once we catch up with them, we find out Frenchie, Huey, and MM are in containment camp, and they're just being all. The outfits kind of had me cracking up though. They're wearing these Homelander sweatshirts and
so
American flag pants.
And the fact that it looks like, and I'm not grafting this on there. This is there, and I'll explain it. But it is coded as if a Nazi death camp met Disney World.
Yeah, kind of, because they're not like the way they're being treated in the camp is like they're being treated to the movie of tonight is going to be Dawn of the Seven. That gets dropped
Yes.
at one point.
Yes,
And
and
they're
then
being fed
tomorrow,
burgers.
yep. And then there's pictures of Homelander giving the thumbs up, and pictures of Sister Sage, and again, everyone's wearing the Homelander shirts, but then they're getting the shit beat out of them. They're getting attacked. They've got a soup that if anyone gets close enough out of the gate, she explodes their head. And this is where I got the death camp thing. There's a slogan on it, like freedom sets you free or something like that.
Yeah, it's some shit like that.
And famously on the death camps, it was work sets you free.
Ah, okay.
Like Arbeit macht, I think it was, but it's something as if like, but they're absolutely kind of calling that illusion in.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think you're grafting on there. It's pretty obvious where they're getting the inspiration from on a lot of the stuff. But it's a good call with the Disney World thing because they are like, yeah, every night they're being showed the Dawn of the Seven.
Dawn of the Seven. Which is which it's funny because they're propaganda films at this point, right?
Exactly, and that's the thing. They're like, it's almost like they're trying to brainwash them into, because the people that are in these camps are Starlighters. Anyone who is against Vought, who is against Homelander on any level, yes, Starlighters. But it's basically anyone who they didn't like on any level, anyone, because they get into it. Anyone who posted anything negative about Homelander, anyone who has done anything on any level on social media, on anything like that, you're locked away one of these camps and you're done.
And it gets worse as it goes on. And you can't help. And look, I'm not making it political. The boys did, right?
Yes.
You can't help but see the parallels between how Homelander is being written and portrayed and how our president reacts to things.
Yes, that's they
said that's intentional. Yes,
they said it was intentional. Like last season, when there was some people who kind of like lost it over that and stuff, and it's like, I'm sorry, but like they're taking inspiration from certain things. Now, again, you can choose to regardless of whatever political party you're with or anything like that. Hey, listen, just go with the show. It's the show.
Yeah, no, exactly. But I did want to call it out because I did think that it is taking Homelander in a different direction, which I do think works for the character. And it's agree. And it's very interesting to watch him unravel in these, because he's unraveling in these episodes. And Sister Sage nails it when she says to him. I actually really warmed on her character. I wasn't crazy about her when she first came, but I think my time with her in Godolphin University really made me like her. When she says, even if you get everything you want, is that going to make you happy? And that's kind of why he's unraveling, because he is getting everything he wants. He's in charge of the United States. He tells the president what to do. His power it makes him mighty, and people worship him for it. But he's not.
Yeah, no, well, because I think it's just that they, in that conversation that you're referring to, right? Homelander is saying that, yeah, that's true, but there are still people who hate me. Like, that acknowledgement is the thing that's driving him nuts, is that he just expected everyone to kind of fall in line and to kiss his ass and let him do whatever he wants with zero pushback and zero challenge. And that's the thing that he can't handle, is that there's anyone who resents him on any level. And in that scene too, with Sister Sage, there was a scene, I started to wonder if he was going to kill her, because I feel like she is the only one who pushes the limits for him on this, and he's so mentally unstable And I've said this before when we've talked about this show, and it's definitely, as soon as I see him, it's right back to it for me. I don't know if it's like that for you, but every scene he's in, there's a level of discomfort and uncertainty with him because you know what he's capable of at any given moment.
Yeah, he as a character scares the shit out of me, and I think if I ever met Anthony Starr, is the guy who plays him, right?
Yeah.
I think having nothing to do with Anthony Starr, I'm sure that he's a wonderful guy. I would be afraid.
He's probably one of the nicest guys on the planet. I mean, because that seems to be how this goes. The actors who are the nicest guys in real life play the worst people imaginable on screen.
Yeah, absolutely.
It seems like the way it goes.
And I'll tell you that there was a scene in this episode, in this episode, the first one, where he's got Deep in Noir in his office. And he's like, you got to go, you got to get A-Train. One of the scariest moments I've ever seen on film is just watching him behind them, and he's just gently rubbing the Deep's throat. And the Deep is terrified. And I'm terrified in that moment.
For the Deep, who we both agree is like a complete piece of shit.
The Deep is unredeemable or unredeemable. But I don't think even he deserves that. That's the thing. It's like not even the worst character in the show deserves it.
I mean, Homelander makes him piss himself in episode 2.
Yes. Oh, yes, he does. It was, I was just swimming.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so when we catch up with them, we see the internment camps that they're in and stuff like that. They're being brainwashed and stuff. And then, Butcher is on the run and he's like trying to, get things together. And he visits his father at one point, and that's even like an unsettling scene where he seemed like he was going to do something a bit over the top for him.
And I think he did. I just don't think we saw it.
Yeah. No, I don't think we saw it either. And because he wanted revenge on his father.
Yeah.
Returning him into who he is.
Yes. Right. Exactly. But I think, honestly, that is... And there's a reason they start with that scene. Because I think they're telling us Butcher is irredeemable. Because, yes, his father deserved to get the shit beat out of him. His father deserved a lot when he was a younger guy and could have defended himself.
Yes.
You come to your dad, your father who's dying, who's very sick. And I love that actor. That's the actor from Fringe. That's the actor who played Denethor from Lord of the Rings. He's such a good actor. But like, and you essentially kill your father who cannot defend himself because now you're a superhero, you've got superpowers. And you do it for sadistic pleasure. And I think the point is he's become just like the Supes with his power.
Yeah.
The only difference is that he hates Homelander so much he's willing to die himself to take the man down with him.
Yeah, Butcher's not coming out of this alive either. No.
And I don't think he should.
No, and that's where we've said over time that there are a lot of the heroes on this show there are still, Butcher is not, he has good intentions at times, but like ultimately his disdain for Homelander and the Supes have driven him to irredeemable aspects and made him do things like, but he doesn't care. As long as he takes them down, nothing else matters.
That's exactly it. And I think it's interesting too, because we start with that, with him. And what we come to learn about Starlight at the end of this episode is she's kind of on the Butcher path. Not in the sense that she's willing to be as sadistic as him, but she's starting to be ready to make the big call about the disease.
Because then that gets picked up too, where basically this is all about like Butcher wants to free Frenchie and the rest of the boys and stuff like that. Because I also think it's not like he dislikes them at all, but he also makes sure that Frenchie's the first one out because he can help to design what's going to kill Homelander, like the virus, basically.
Right. And here's the thing. I think Billy the Butcher likes all of them as much as Billy the Butcher can like anyone.
Yeah, exactly.
But that liking people is not what motivates him. And I think that's why the thing with his father is so unsettling for him, and why it throws his character in, because we've seen him do worse to Soups and take pleasure in it. But there wasn't the imbalance of power, and I think that's what the issue with the Soups are. So yeah, he likes them all, fine, but they're not the mission. The mission is Frenchie only because Frenchie is the one who could help him with the disease. And I think that's even interesting because we meet them as his friends.
Yeah, and it shows you how long. Yeah, his arc over the 5 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
You know where it's at. So yeah, then they basically hatch this plan, and then we find out that Starlight, she also infiltrates Vought, and she dresses up as Firecracker to
That was awesome.
kind of get in there, and then that's what sets Homelander off, right? With a lot of his things, right? Like that, the fact that happens is where he's like, go ahead.
And he gets fucking pissed, but it's also her whole thing is she hijacks the Vought signal during the Vought press conference where he's like, "I'm God, worship me,"
Yes,
and goes back to the footage that we've known existed since the first season, when him and Maeve, when he's like, "Get back or I will fucking laser you. Everyone on this plane dies. What are we gonna do? Have them tell that we wouldn't save them?" And he looks at the audience and he's about to murder them all right there.
Mm-hmm.
And Sister Sage is the one who pulls him back.
Yeah. He has a deep respect for her, but I still am questioning. Like, I still think at some point she's going to push too far, and he's going to just knee-jerk react.
I agree. I don't know if he's going to kill her. There's definitely going to be a schism. Because my thing is, I think it's not even respect. He liked A-Train. I think he loved A-Train. I think, and we'll get to A-Train in a second, but this is important for my point. I genuinely think what he said about A-Train in the second episode at his funeral was heartfelt, and he meant it. That doesn't, like Billy the Butcher, that doesn't matter. And so I think Sister Sage is dangerous to him, but also he needs her, because I think even he knows she's smarter than him. He doesn't have this without her. He can't just muscle this. This needed to be a chess game, not a fucking, punch to the face. But he's going to get to a point where that in and of itself is a blow to his ego.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I think that's where, he's going to go on like one of his, like, just because you can see when he's you mentioned, he was unraveling, and I think he's going to lose control, and that's when it's going to happen. Is my guess. But I'm with you 100% on all of the way he views her. He knows he needs her, and she's helped him get everything he's wanted, almost. Because now it's what he still desires at this point. Well, he also desires. He's basically says this, like, I'm going to set a trap, and I'm going to get the word out that in 72 hours I'm going to kill Frenchie, and Huey finally, and it's a trap, and I'm going to lure them out because enough with Starlight, enough with Butcher, like, they need to die, like, and that's enough of this. Like, this is bullshit now. And when that goes out, like, that's when we get, like, Butcher goes ahead and he gets the girl and gets her, like, to come join the crew and
Kimiko,
stuff like that.
Right?
Kimiko, yeah, but her, like, a code name is the girl that's in there.
Okay. Oh, right. I forget that. Yeah.
Yeah. But I also think that was a hilarious moment, though, because we find out she is speaking now.
And you know what? Last season energy. That's why. I didn't even question it. It's the last season. fucking Kamiko wants to speak. Let the actress speak. And honestly, I didn't hate it. I kind of like her speaking. I think it's kind of funny. I think it's funny that she's learning what's appropriate and not appropriate to say because she never had that problem before.
Yeah. And when they take the flight back and they we kind of get everyone together, and she's like, she starts speaking and he looks at her and goes, "You're trying to tell me this whole time not a word?" And she's like, "Well, all you say is cunt, 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 oi, oi, oi." Like, what the hell else is he supposed to say to that shit? He goes, "I like you better when you didn't speak. Shut up."
That's so funny. It's such a great moment.
Yeah,
I love the making fun
awesome.
of that.
Yeah, no, that was hilarious.
Yeah. So all right. So then you were talking about the setup and the trap to get them in. So we have a little putting together the team, right? Butcher's like, I got a guy. He's gonna get us in. We're gonna dig under and go into the camp. And the guy is that the writer from the past?
No, it's not. This is no, it's not the same guy. Because
Okay,
you're thinking of the guy who's kind of like this. Yeah, he's a new character.
Okay. So he's a quite disgusting superpowered individual who is a worm and eats and shits out dirt to dig. So Butcher kind of recruits him, not telling him he's got problems with Vought. Butcher doesn't tell him what the plan is. He gets him. Starlight reaches out to A-Train, who has been MIA and been helping her. He's been kind of covertly helping the Starlighters, but you also find out he's been moving his family around because the Deep has been hunting him.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good thing the Deep is fucking useless. And we will get to that when we get to that moment of when he and the Deep talk, but he won't help them. He's like, no, I can't help. I gotta. And Starlight is like, no, I get you're afraid. He's like, I'm not afraid. I got a family. I got responsibility. And then, so Starlight is like, okay, we'll have to do something else. You then get a moment with A-Train, and this was the moment I texted you guys. I really hope that this is not a false flag again. I have wanted an A-Train redemption story forever. This cannot. Don't do it to me again. Not knowing how this episode was going to end.
Yeah.
But they didn't do it to me. It wasn't a false flag. So A-Train has a moment with his brother, which I loved. And he's like, why? Stop acting like this is a vacation. We're on the run. And he's like, yeah, I know. This sucks, but it's worth it. Remember when I told you were never a hero? I can't say that now. You've saved us. And that was such a touching moment. That actor who plays A-Train, I thought, really nailed the emotion he needed. And then they see, hey, what the hell's with all the seagulls over there? Oh shit, the Deep's coming for us. Get out of here. A-Train doesn't even try to run. And A-Train tells him, and I love this moment. He's like, Deep, you're scared. And you're pathetic. I was scared of pathetic. He is pathetic. Don't be scared of him. Fight back. And I kind of think they're setting the scene for the Deep redemption arc, which I can't imagine.
No.
Something gets to him there, I think. But anyway, we'll see.
I
don't know how I would feel.
No, I don't want that. Yeah, I don't know if I want that.
But then A-Train decides he's going to help them, and in the breakout, they dig under the tunnel. They come out. Homelander's waiting for them. Homelander's killed all of Huey's cellmates because they've known about all of this going on. Ha ha ha! It was to give you hope, and you suck. And then they come in. They kind of have the standoff with Homelander. Starlighter throws a little Starlight out. There's some cool action. You see Starlighter's different because she leaves. She gives Huey a hug, but she also gets Frenchie out of there.
Mm-hmm.
And the way Huey winds up getting out of there, even though the woman he said he would help gets shot by Homelander, it's A-Train. A-Train comes out and saves them. And Homelander's been talking about, I've been looking for A-Train. Why is he doing this to me? Homelander says, fuck them. I'm going for A-Train. And we actually get the Flash Superman race, right? Like in The Boys. And I know you picked up on this, but my favorite moment of the episode, because it calls back to the very first scene of this show, is he's running and he's actually getting away from Homelander. And the reason he gets caught is because he notices that there's a woman in the road, and instead of just running through her and destroying her, which we know he can do, because this is what set Huey on his fucking suicide mission, he throws himself off. Yep, he saves her, throws himself off balance, goes into some woods, and that is ultimately a Homelander fucking catches him.
Which is a great, for the show, great full circle moment.
Yep, that's the redemption arc.
That's the redemption arc. No, you're right. And it's funny, when you got that, when you sent that text to me, Rick, I hadn't watched it yet, right? So you were ahead of me on this one. And when I was watching it, I'm like, so he doesn't die. So your text technically threw me off the scent of this. And I'm like, at the end of the episode, I'm thinking, he's not going to die. And then he does. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I sent that text too early.
No, but you did. The thing is, you didn't give it away, though. You technically helped the show, because
that's true.
The word going out around on social media was The Boys has this shocking death immediately. And I'm like, I didn't know who it was. And then when I saw that, I was like thinking, oh, it's going to be A-Train. Then your text came in, and I'm like, oh, shit, it's not A-Train. So you kind of helped like unspoil the somewhat spoiler.
Yeah,
in a weird
I'm the
way.
anti-spoiler.
Yeah, no, you did. You kind of undid that. So at the end of episode 1, I was questioning, but I don't know. I kind of was like, no, this is dead. He snaps his fucking neck.
He snaps his neck, and the scene between them, and I love this. This is the way A-Train deserved to go out, right? He went, I'm not afraid of you. I don't know why I was. You're pathetic. Without your powers, you are sad and pathetic. And the reason Homelander is so angry is because he knows he's right in that moment.
Yes.
And Homelander, all he has is fear. And A-Train knows he's going to die. And I think A-Train accepted his death when he went to help the boys.
Yes, agreed. Because he tells them that he's like, I can't do this. I can't help you guys because I have my family. And he was genuine. Like, I think everything from A-Train was genuine.
Absolutely. And it's his family saying, you became the hero you always wanted to be, that makes him go, okay, the hero makes the big sacrifice.
Yep.
And that's what he does. And I think there's a great moment. I don't know if it's this episode. No, it's probably the next episode, second episode, where they even ask Huey, like, hey, are you taking any pleasure in A-Train's death? And he's like, no. Yeah, I know. He did me wrong, but he redeemed himself. He died a hero. He didn't deserve that. And I love that moment, too, because A-Train is the person who sets Huey on this. Yeah. So that's part of, like, A-Train really did atone, because the person he sinned on the most, narratively speaking, is forgiving him.
Yeah. No, it's great writing, again, for a special final season thing, because we're closing the book on a lot of these characters, and that was the perfect. Yeah. I think that was the perfect way for A-Train to drop it, and also for Huey to get closure, because he knows, like, this is what set his path. Obviously, he has other things to fight for now.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is this started the show. It's not ending the show, but it doesn't mean we don't deserve a little closure for that. And the writers knew that, and they gave it to us.
Yeah, because I've always said for years, the hardest thing to do, I think, is to properly give an ending to a show, especially a really good popular show. And there was also some like meta commentary about that when that writer guy is talking to them.
Yes.
And he says, man, like he says something along the lines, right? Like, oh, the hardest thing to do is like end the show and stuff like that. And it's true. Like, it's super difficult to stick the landing and satisfy everyone.
Yes, and that's something we've talked about a lot on this show.
Yeah, because we've seen shows from beginning to end, and it's difficult.
Yeah, sometimes they stick it perfectly. Sometimes they don't, and it's okay. Sometimes, and I'm looking at you, Secret Invasion. It's fine up until the landing, and then it ruins the whole thing retroactively.
Yeah, now we look back on it like, man, that show sucked. Well, if
Right.
you go back and watch the show, us breaking down every week, you're like, yeah, we liked it. We were on board until we just
Till the end, didn't come
until
together.
the end.
And the way they did it too is they trusted the audience, right? No one telegraphed it. No one said, "Do you remember the first season when A Train runs into Huey's girl?" Like, no, it's a moment. They trust the audience. If you know what this means.
Yeah.
But it means everything about where this character started and where he's ending, and it's never telegraphed. And I think that's part of what I love about this show is it really does trust the audience to be smart about like things like this.
Mm-hmm. So episode 2 picks up with, like you mentioned, the funeral for A Train that's there, and that's when they tell you right off the bat, like, no fake death. He's done. That's it. And you got Ashley's boyfriend or husband, because Ashley is now the vice president of the United States, who also got her superpowers, and we find out she's got like some sort of Voldemort thing in the back of her head.
Oh my god, yes. Oh my god, you're right. That is a Voldemort thing, like with Quirrell in the first one.
That is fucking bizarre. Yes.
But she can also read people's minds?
No, I don't think she can. I think it's like the head is just talking to her.
But can the head read minds? Because she's reading people's minds at some point.
I don't know if she is, or if there's just like the voice talking to her and telling. I'm not 100% sure. But I thought she also says when she takes the wig off, she's like, "Oh yeah, like this, like this is what I get. This is the shitty superpower that I get, just like grown head in the back of mine that like just talks to me and shit."
Oh, okay. I thought that was part of it. I thought that was related to the mind reading, but I guess
that's the way I interpreted it. I mean, I could be wrong.
Because
I don't know if she's really reading people's minds.
I don't know, because when she's having that conversation with herself in her head, before we know what's back there, and they're talking to Homelander, and Homelander's like, yes, or not Homelander, maybe it's Sister Sage. We want to ramp up. We want to put more people in internment camps. If anyone ever farted in the direction that Homelander once ate dinner, they got to go to an internment camp. And she's saying like the president is thinking the same thing as you. You just act on it. Just stand up for yourself. So that's why I thought she was able to pick up on what other people were reading. Were thinking, but it was this voice picking up on it and telling her almost secondhand.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think they do need to like maybe go into it a little bit more.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, that's the way I interpreted it. I thought it was just like, it was telling her things and that was it and whatever. So then we get that. So we get the A Train funeral that's there, and that closes the book on that. But like, yeah, you can see that there's like Homelander is kind of hit by that, but then he's also kind of like, it also makes them start to think too, like, he says something like, why is everyone against me? Why does everyone keep leaving me? And he's starting to have like some serious, and that's what you talked about, unraveling. Like he's having some internal issues there, and he knows like the virus is out there, and like they're trying to like get that whole Godolphin virus going. And we find out he has Soldier Boy, his dad, essentially in
his bedroom
in cryo, and he eventually gives in and wakes him up out of cryo. And the question is, and because I think like, doesn't Sage ask him, why did you wake up Soldier Boy? Is it because he's your father and you're lonely, or were you really being vindictive to send him on a mission to find out if this virus can kill you, and you were willing to sacrifice him? Question though, Jason, which is it? Because I think it's a good thing to discuss here, because I don't think the show gives you a concrete answer because Homelander does have a weird reaction to it. Also,
the thing is, I think two things could be true at the same time. And I think, did Homelander de-thaw his father because he's lonely? Absolutely. Does Homelander also think, you know what? Maybe my father can go and see if this virus will kill us. Yes. I think the issue isn't which is true, because I think they both are. I think the issue is which is more true. And I think the impression I got, and I think that, and to be clear, I don't even think Homelander was lying to anyone but himself.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what's coming out is it was the loneliness thing, because he has that moment when he makes the Deep piss himself, where he looks at him and he fires up his eyes, and the Deep's just like, hey boss, I'm here, I'm looking into this, I'm gonna get things done, you were brilliant, that was a great idea, you had to send this guy in there, job accomplished, now we have everything we need. And he puts his hand on his shoulder and he fires his laser eyes and he goes, it should have been you. And the Deep pisses himself and fucking runs. But I don't think Homelander realized how much of a reaction he was going to have to the death. We'll talk about it, of Soldier Boy.
Well, yeah, I agree. I do think there's an element of, because I think that's why that line is there. Why is everyone leaving me? Because I think there is, he does want somebody who also he respects and sees as somewhat of a, on the same level as him, because he sees basically everyone as idiots, or less than. And Soldier Boy's the only one who he knows, like, tried to kill him, and kind of like, because they do have that conversation once he gets some thought. Which I also want to talk about Soldier Boy's first comments, where he was just like looking around and he's like in a Homelander t-shirt. He's like, "Did you fuck me? What's going on here? Some weird incest shit or some shit like that?"
And that is so funny. He's like, no. I just found out today that you they had you down there. You just found out today. Then why is my cryopod in your room?
Yeah, he's just like, what the? He's just calling bullshit on him immediately. But so they do have that conversation. They address it like, hey, there was that whole thing, and he sends, Soldier Boy goes after Butcher because they also find out, like, Homelander knows that they're trying to cook up the thing, and they're cooking up the virus and stuff, and they think they've got something here. They also, the boys need to test it on someone. And we meet this character called Rockhard, who is this big mountain of stone and apparently ejaculates volcanic lava, and it just keeps piling on him.
It spews on him and hardens into rock. So they get down there, and he's just this huge rock monster, and they're just like, oh, he really let himself go. And then you find out, because he's watching volcanoes erupting, and I think it's Frenchie who realizes that it's rock porn. Yeah. And so he shoots at them, the lava, and then laughs that he almost got them, and then it oozes. It's so disgusting. This show could be so disgusting.
it's pretty nasty. But then he also has these. He also has these other like teenage, heroes that are with him and stuff like that are kind of, because that's how they find out where he is. Like, they're kind of like bringing him stuff and things like that. And we also meet them, and we find out they're like influencers and shit like that, but they're like soups that have that. Right. So there's also them, and then the girl kind of like the one with the crows and everything. She kind of like by the end of it is spared of all this. The boys kind of spare her, but then they get into it with the other guys. But
the boys don't spare her. spares her.
Yeah.
Starlighter, because finds her, and I think this is important to MM's character, so I do want to delve into it for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Is starting to drink. No one else is drinking now, right? And he used to be the teetotaler. That's why it was mother's milk, right? Because he was a teetotaler.
Yeah.
We get a great Anthony Starr moment, though, which I forgot to mention in the first episode. Where he's like,
yes.
You never told Butcher. You never told me your friend's nickname was Mother's Milk.
Yeah, and then he's like starts licking his lips and like, oh god.
So gross. But
it's so gross.
so MM's walking around drinking, looking around, and he notices that the crow girl is there. And then, he gets into combat with her. She's got a murder of crows, and you find out she had 12, but the cat girl who she lives with has eaten a bunch of them. And he's able to overcome the 2 of them. And he says to Starlight, what do we do with her? And she goes, same as the rest, lock her in. So Starlight is ready to fucking execute this young girl. And she's like 19, 20. And you get a sense that she's different because when you see Cat Girl, Selenite, I think, and the other guy, they're like taking the videos and like, hey, we've just arrested this person, and the son is crying in the background, and he's like, hey, get out of my shot or I'll fucking kill you. Like, these 2 are evil. This girl's like doing like goth beauty product tips, and it's like, I know this sucks, but they make me do it. I mean, so you could tell she's different. And then she has a moment with MM where she's like, please, I just want to go home. Please, just don't kill me. And we remember, what do we know about MM? He's a dad. He's a family man. He frees her. The rest of them, they don't know.
Yeah, because the rest of them... No, I agree. And also, by the way, talking about MM, let's not forget, when they were breaking out of the internment camp,
yes,
he finally has his battle with his nemesis, Love Sausage.
Dick guy, yeah.
He has the battle and fucking chokes him out with his own fucking dick.
Look, I was watching this and I was going, look, yes, if your dick is like that and you can whip it around and club things with it, 100%, yes, great power, except terrible defense. Because when he gets because what's being attacked is your dick.
Exactly. So, like, yeah, it can definitely be twofold for sure. That's there. But it's funny because I remember when they showed, when he saw that Love Sausage was one of the guards and stuff, you could see it light up. He was like, I'm going to end this motherfucker because this guy's put me through so much shit over the last couple of seasons. It's a wrap. And he finally gets his revenge and he kills Love Sausage. And I thought that was a pretty cool moment for him as well. But you had mentioned, though, they get the virus together. They get it. They kill Rockhard with it, and the others that are there. But then also, you're right. The Crow Girl is spared, but Soldier Boy is after them as well. And there's this whole throwdown with Butcher and Soldier Boy and stuff like that, and they end up hitting him with the same virus. And that's where we see his skin starts bubbling and stuff like that. And we're led to believe that he's dead. And that's when you had mentioned Homelander sees that and has that moment of deep and makes him piss himself. But then at the end of the episode, we see him sit up like the Undertaker as he's being taken away. So, question for you, though, is... Are we getting the same Soldier Boy? Or are we getting like some sort of weird zombified version of Soldier Boy? Or is he like looks like Two-Face maybe? And he's just... But the other question though is this, and that's one thing. But the other thing that raised for me was, so they wanted to test the virus on Rockhard because they say he's as powerful as Homelander. Yes. Because they think Soldier Boy is on ice at this. He was on ice at this point. It killed Rockhard, I guess, and everyone else, right? Because we see him die.
Yeah,
Rockhard
we see his brain slips out.
Yeah, he's done. So does that mean this virus then cannot kill Homelander? It's not quite perfected yet. That's the part I was a little questionable about.
I think we need to see what it does
to Soldier Boy
before we can say that, because maybe you're right. Maybe it makes him some undead fucking abomination. Maybe it just took what Soldier Boy's power is? He could burn the Vought serum out of you. Is that what it is?
I believe so. Yeah, he has some sort of like nuclear reactor type thing that he can do because when he starts lighting up and everything.
So I don't know. Maybe it altered his power. Maybe it's
I don't know.
power
Yeah.
away. That's the thing. I think we don't know. We can't say whether this is gonna work or not on Homelander until we see what happened, what that was. And I got to tell you, man, I thought there were 3 episodes of this, so I had sat down to watch 3 in a row.
That's
and I got this. No, it's fine. But I got to this, and I was like, but no. I need to know what happens.
They wanted to stretch it out a little longer because usually in the past they've always released the first 3, and then they go from there. So I guess they wanted to, since it's the last season, maybe prolong it just a little more.
Yeah,
I'm guessing.
Yeah, which is fine.
Which I'm fine with. I don't mind because I don't want to see the show go. I am bummed out that it's ending, but I also can see where they probably want to, get out while before it drags itself up. But we also have spin-offs. Gen V is still around, which, by the way, kudos to them for acknowledging the events of Gen V.
Yes, they did. Yes,
and not
they did.
Heavy-handed either.
Just, hey, how did it go over there? She did what you could, but it wasn't enough. Let's move on.
Yeah.
World
perfect way to tie in. Exactly. And we are getting Vaught Rising, which Soldier Boy is in, and him and Stormfront. So there still will be more content from the universe of the boys. Just the main show, will be put to end. So I'm curious. Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited that it's back. I'm
Me too.
Yeah, I don't want to get bummed that it's ending, but I'm just hoping they stick the fucking landing with this, man.
I have here's the thing. Honestly, I have no doubt they will. I have been impressed with every episode of this show. I don't think it's had a bad episode.
No, me neither.
Me neither. I think the care and thought into the world building, how intelligently written it is, and how they can still surprise you. I didn't know because I'm not on social media anymore, so I didn't know someone was going to die at the end of this episode. I still feared that the Deep was going to get his neck fucking snapped because that's this show.
That raises the other question, by the way. Something that's going on. Black Noir.
I was going to bring that up before we finished. Yes, I'm glad you got to it.
Black Noir not speaking anymore.
Yes, and not acknowledging the Deep, really. He walks away from the Deep. If you remember, Black Noir never shut the fuck up because even the Deep says, you're not the real Black Noir. And the Deep is hysterical because he keeps going, he's going all Stella Adler. He's going all method. And that's funny is that because I do teach a drama class and I am into acting, that's actually correct. He's naming the right names. The writers did their homework. But I thought that was hysterical.
So, in the comics, it's revealed at the end of the comics that Black Noir is a Homelander clone.
Oh.
Question is, do you think they swiped out Black Noir? You think they're going to try to bring in the Homelander clone thing? Or do you think there's... I'm not really sure because I've kind of always known about that. And I know the show took it a different direction.
So in the comic, Black Noir was never whoever he was in the show.
He was a Homelander clone the whole time. And apparently he was doing a lot of the evil shit that Homelander was doing. Or being accused of.
Wait, so in the comic, Homelander wasn't the evil one? It was Black Noir?
No, he is, but apparently some of the stuff was Black Noir. From my understanding.
Oh, okay. And narratively, I don't see that fitting.
Yeah, or again, they could just be bringing in a Homelander clone and just changing that, because also another thing, Soldier Boy in the comics is incredibly drastically different than what we got here.
Yes, I've heard that too.
He doesn't have... Soldier Boy in the comics is a mantle that's passed on, and one of them is this pathetic dude who wants to join the Seven, and he keeps sleeping with Homelander and hoping to get into the Seven and everything, and he never does, and he's like a coward, and he runs away. He's so incompetent. He gets he gets his team murdered and stuff like that. So he's not Homelander's father, and he doesn't have powers and all this shit. So they've taken other characters in completely different directions. But the fact that he's not speaking, I don't think it's the same guy that we knew last season.
No, I don't think it is either. And actually, now that you're saying this, I'm going to put forth a theory that I just came up with. What if it's a Homelander sibling we didn't know about? Not a clone, but because we get the father, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then Homelander. And clones are kind of like twin siblings, right? Kind of in a way. I mean, Homelander himself is a genetically engineered creature. So maybe there is like a different, and maybe it is a clone, I guess, but a different type. But I don't. If it's going to be a clone, I don't think it's going to be an evil clone.
Okay. So you think maybe he's like a good Homelander clone?
Maybe a good Homelander clone, or a sibling that we didn't know about. Someone that like. I don't know, something that, because that's where they're going, right? Homelander feels alone. Homelander's looking for family.
Yeah.
So something like that would make sense, right? And he's got his father, who we just lost, but did he? You've got then maybe a sibling is brought in, or a clone as coded as a sibling, and I don't know. I'm just spitballing.
Yeah. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. They kind of got me. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. I will say I don't think it's the same person we did last year. I think it's definitely they've swiped it out with somebody else. I'll say that for now.
Yes. I definitely agree, because that person last year never stopped talking. And that was that, and they wanted us to remember that, because the deep keeps pointing it out. So it clearly is, even if we are wrong and it has nothing to do with Homelander, it is absolutely something.
Yeah. They don't usually put things out there and not pay them off to to a high degree. So all right. Anything else on the boys though before we flip over to Daredevil?
I just got 2 words to round this up. Oi cunt.
Oi, cunt. Oh, that's great. All right, so then that brings us over to Disney Plus, to the MCU, for Daredevil Born Again Season 2, Episode 4. This is the best episode of the season for me.
I can't disagree.
I
can't disagree.
And I've loved all 4 episodes of this so far. I do think as much as I enjoyed Season 1, I think Season 2 I think they're doing it better. I think so.
Season 1 had a little more heavy lifting, to be honest.
Yeah, they were setting things up again. They were connected to the Netflix series. They had a lot of things to do. And I think now Season 1 happened, so now Season 2 can run, and off to the tracks. And this episode specifically is the perfect example.
Yeah.
I mean,
I agree.
The opening scene where we get Bullseye, basically we catch up with him, and Poindexter is this neighbor who kind of reminded me of like American Psycho kind of morning, where he's kind of doing exercises and stuff. All right, I wasn't the only one who was thinking American Psycho.
No, I thought American Psycho, but I also thought like, it's always the quiet ones. You know what I mean? Because he gets up and he does his exercises, and he watches TV, and he makes himself some eggs, and he makes an extra egg for the cat next door, and he feeds that cat, and he pets that cat, and he says hello to the neighbor who really likes him and thinks he's a nice boy. And then he goes down, and he's flicking a coin, and then we see him use his bullseye power, just in case you forgot who he was. Coin into a homeless man's coffee cup who's looking for, he's presenting as like the nicest person.
Yeah, because later in the episode he tells, in the scene, right? So in the diner scene where he goes to the diner, he sits down, he's smiling, and he orders himself a banana milkshake, because that's what the diner was known for, Bel Air Diner, which by the way we had mentioned earlier. In Queens, not on 10th Avenue, not in Hell's Kitchen, anywhere near it. But whatever. But he calls in, and says he just saw Frank Castle walk into the Bel Air diner. And he goes ahead and the AVTF shows up because they're thinking they're looking for Frank Castle, and then they kind of see he's not there. And then they turn to him. Hold on a second. And he sizes up the place, which I thought was genius. He looks around, you see him sizing it up, every detail, forks, knives, even to the fact he ordered a milkshake so we can have a straw. To use a toothpick as a harpoon was awesome. And then once they see he's not there, he takes this one guy out, and he just goes on his spree and wipes the fucking floor with them. And he sees this guy with a dog, and he's like, having a dog in a restaurant is unsanitary. The guy's basically,
please don't kill me.
Don't kill me. And that's the moment, though, Jason, where he's like, I'm the good guy. Because again, that's how he sees himself. And also, we catch up later on in the episode if that's his train of thought now, where he's trying to do that one good deed he talks about.
The one thing that reverses everything.
Yes, one good deed, because he has guilt about he didn't want to kill Foggy. He was like, he was forced to kill Foggy, and blames Vanessa for it. And
Vanessa. Yeah, we'll get to it.
Oh boy. But yeah, so I wanted to ask you though, his Bullseye's intention though, right? Because he gets everyone, and this one guy who has his eye taken out, and he calls in on the radio. It's not Castle, it's Bullseye. It's Bullseye. And then he murders him. Do you think he was trying to frame Frank Castle?
No, I don't.
This
actually.
Okay, because I think I know what you're going to say. Why? Right? Because I'm kind of on two minds of this. Okay. One, I'm with you because of what he does on the way out with the ketchup. He sprays the Bullseye logo, meaning he wants to leave his mark, and all of that. But do you think he only did that because the guy called it in?
I don't. I think he didn't murder that guy specifically to let him call it in.
Interesting. Okay.
Because he from the moment they walk in, that is his battlefield.
Yeah.
Nothing happens. Yep. Yeah. Nothing happens that surprises him. Nothing happens that he doesn't want to. He takes that guy's eye out. He doesn't finish the job. He doesn't finish the job because the guy was going to call him in or because the guy called him in. He knows that's going to happen.
Okay.
If he wanted them to know it was Frank Castle, think it was Frank Castle, he murders that guy before he even gets his hand on his radio. I think he lets that guy live for that. And I think I actually wanted to discuss this with you too, because we had the theory that he was trying to set Daredevil up for this. But after this, I think we were wrong. I think he wants to be he wants to bear all of these because he is now bearing the guilt of killing Foggy. Yeah. And this is him trying to force his own redemption arc. And I think in his head, the way he does it, making the sacrifice, doing the good deed is ending Wilson Fisk's reign. And part of that is murdering these fucking anti-vigilante task force. Yeah. Because they're all a part of it. Like, I think if he doesn't want people knowing it's him, he doesn't call in it's Frank Castle and then sit there and kill them. He calls in it's Frank Castle and kills them like Frank Castle would. But no one's going to come into that site and go, hey, Frank Castle used this toothpick to kill 4 guys.
Yeah. Fair enough. Because I was kind of curious to know about that. I was starting to wonder if maybe that was the case. But yeah, I guess you're right. And also, perhaps he called in Frank Castle because he knows they would send the AVTF and not the police.
Yes, right. Because he's not going to call. We find out in his head he wants to make restitution to Daredevil. Yeah. And there's a beautiful moment where Daredevil's like, "Fuck you, no, you killed my best friend. You don't come back from that." And he's like, "But I will. I've got to do this right, make this right." So he's not going to call in Daredevil. And who else are you going to call in? Who's the one guy who you know is going to bring the heat? It's the guy who escaped.
Yeah. And also, I mean, everyone seems to be pretty aware of like what Frank Castle is capable of and stuff like that. Oh shit! Which, by the way, yeah, we can do it after. There was a trailer. There's a trailer that dropped for The Punisher: One Last Kill. So we will do it in reverse order. We will wrap up with that. So
very exciting.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I actually like skipped my mind today. All right, so we catch up with Daredevil and the crew, and he freed a lot of the people that were captured last week, and then we sees the swordsman, though, it's kind of like, hey, I'm stepping away from this. Daredevil wants him to kind of stay, but he's like, I got to get out of this stuff. But you have access to all my accounts and stuff, so now we know how the revolution is being funded. You know, by that. So I thought that was a pretty cool thing.
Very smart, because you need, in this day and age, you need to dot your I's and slash your T's, and part of the slashing the T's is how are they affording this? Yeah. And now we know, and that's perfect. Like, I can't fight with you. I'm an old fucking man. I don't care. I'm going to the sword. I'm an old man. I'm going home. I got stuff to do. But here's a checkbook. Enjoy.
I'm gonna go find my stepdaughter and Kate Bishop, by the way.
Yeah, still not find my stepdaughter and ask her why she didn't come and try to get me out of there.
Yeah, where the hell have you been? Well, he also gets a one of the uniforms from the AVTF. Daredevil gets also, which he uses brilliantly later on. But then the first mate from the Northern Star finds his way to the rebellion and stuff like that, and he says he has evidence, linking Fisk all this, because he's the one who can kind of finally set this all up. And then we also get confirmation of the new White Tiger. Right, like his niece is going to go ahead and do that. Oh, we got a quick comment in there, by the way, from YouTube at Battle Beast. I am Battle Beast, sir. Thank you for joining us, and you most certainly are Battle Beast. Bring you more battle. So she ends up getting this basically chip of information that she wants to get to BB. And later on, she hands it to a friend who hands it to BB later on as she's going in to go see the fight, because Mayor Fisk is fighting a charity fight, for his, whole thing. But we also find that it's also kind of a trap to lure out Bullseye and Daredevil.
Yes. And I think there's some great moments here, because we get Fisk with Vanessa, like, I want you to go meet with the governor and make the governor make things okay with her. This is part of what we're doing. And she's like, no, you're sending me away. And he's like, yes, because because I don't think he tells her that he's setting this trap. And I think that's part of the problem, is she thinks he's like, I don't trust you. Yeah. But he's really like, no, this guy has gotten in your head, and I'm going to do something stupid I can't tell you about, and that's going to put you in danger. And we know how she's been reacting. She's been carrying the gun around. She's been afraid. She's been having like flashbacks. So I think it's super interesting how that plays out.
Yeah, I also think that he does mention to her, like, hey, because she feels like she's being sent away for protection, because he does say, like, hey, it's an open forum, like, I'm putting myself out there a bit, and all of that. But same token, she goes up to the governor, has this conversation with her, to try to get her on the side, because the governor says, hey, I don't trust Fisk. I don't trust the whole thing he's doing, but I can work with you. And can you tone down his darker impulses and stuff like that? She's like, I can't guarantee you that, but I can bring the best out of him. She's like, all right, fair enough. I can work with you.
The governor goes, him. I'm making money? Yeah, that's good enough for me. I'm a politician in America. Fuck you. All I care about is money. Essentially,
right? And
both
that's it.
Sides. A politician on both sides, to be clear.
So that's basically that. The AVTF also raids the law firm, McDuffie and Murdoch, looking for the swordsman. So they're tearing the place up and stuff like that, and also suggesting that the swordsman is the one who took down the Northern Star. He was a part of that group. So continuing the frame job of because that's what they're trying to chart here. But then Charles, by the way, drops back in because we didn't see him last episode, but he kind of shows up working for the government and basically drops in on Fisk. And yeah, this was a great scene because he drops in on Fisk and Buck, and you kind of get this impression, like I'm sure you got the same, was Fisk is trying so hard to scale it back. He doesn't, like he's trying to temper it down because he knows he reached this agreement with the government or an agency in the government, and he's trying to fulfill his part, but he's like, hey, Daredevil took down the fucking Northern Star. I know what was going down there. I'm hiding these weapons because Charles is like, dude, these weapons need to be out there. And he's like, I'm playing my 4D chess. I'm keeping them away from her. You don't know what the fuck you're dealing with right now.
And I think that's a great moment where he walks in and he's sitting there and it's like, I'm sitting on these weapons. Why am I sitting on these weapons? These weapons are supposed to be on a boat headed for wherever the hell they're going, the people who need them. But yet I am sitting on these weapons. And then that's when you're right. He's like, well, no, okay. And Fisk is right. Like, Fisk is like, no, Daredevil's got our number. I will get these weapons to you, but you have to trust me. And Matthew Lillard's like, flexing his muscle, and then he brings out two toughs.
Yeah.
I'll let you do that, Ed, because that's...
But then we learn about Buck. Because Buck just basically pulls out a fucking gun, shoots both of them in the head, just like that. And Fisk gets up there, and he's just like, all right, I've established my dominance again. He knows I'm not fucking around now. And he's like, yeah, maybe next time you don't do that, but just relax. I'm going to get the job done.
Yeah.
And he walks out, and Buck's got the gun on him, on Charles. And then when they leave, that's when we get him, Charles, like, oh, fuck. Like, he just took down my security just like that. It also adds more to Buck because, dude, Buck is no joke.
No, and it's funny because Buck does this thing where he's like, and Matthew Lillard makes the joke of like, you can put your hands down now, and he goes, oh, okay, boom.
Yeah, they reestablish who's really in control in this working relationship immediately. I thought that was pretty dope.
And Fisk has that line, I don't work for you.
Yeah. Let's just get this straight, okay? I'm not your employee.
I love that.
So then, like you mentioned earlier, Matt has this uniform from one of the AVTF, and he goes back to the crime scene. He does this really cool investigation of in the diner of where everything went down, and basically confirms it's Bullseye, and knows what's going on. He finds this coin that's from the church that he goes to, because we find that on the scene. And then he goes back to the church and questions the priest that we knew Bullseye spoke to in episode 1. And, he puts it together and he finds out where Bullseye's at. He's right by the church. He's across the street because the priest says, hey, he watches me go in here. He does all this. He shows me lock up at night. Daredevil also finds out that he was looking for his mother.
Yes.
So that enraged him further because he's like,
of course,
what we're dealing with here. And then, Jason, we get one of the fucking coolest fight scenes, even though it's brief, in this entire run. Like, it's right there with the hallway fights for me in the Netflix run of Daredevil, because those were legendary all the time. Every season there's a hallway fight. This was right there, even though it was brief. We get a Daredevil Bullseye throwdown where he enters Bullseye's apartment. Bullseye's listening to, by the way, a Walkman with a fucking CD.
Fucking love it.
And I can guarantee you that is specifically for the use because he knows he can make it a fucking deadly weapon.
Exactly. No, that's exactly it. You can't throw an MP3.
Exactly. I'm not throwing my iPhone at you or anything like that. And he throws the disc. It bounces off. We get the Billy Club in use. They're going at it. There's a double punch in there. It is awesome. Okay. But then during the fight, he takes his neighbor hostage briefly and is like, because she walks in and she sees Daredevil beating the shit out of him. Mm-hmm. She's thinking, oh, my innocent neighbor is getting pounded on by one of these evil vigilantes. But then Bullseye flips it around and he's taking her hostage. And that's when we get the explanation of like, I need one good deed. She made me do this to Foggy. She made me kill him. I didn't want to. And that's when you mentioned, he's like, fuck off. Like, you can't undo this. And he's like, I'm going to do what you won't do. And that's kill Fisk. And he's like, I'm not going to let you make a martyr out of him.
Which I love that, because that's the key, right? Daredevil doesn't want to kill Fisk. It's not like, oh, I can't do it because it's wrong. He's like, no, it'll make a martyr out of it. It'll make things worse. Yeah.
So I thought that was it. We get a lot to chew on there in that conversation right after the fight. So one of my favorite scenes of the episode.
And also before we go any further, I also want to point out, I love the way he found him, because he gets that information in the church and he does this Daredevil thing, which I don't think we've ever seen him do in this show, but he's done in the comic, where he kind of just opens his senses and hears everything.
Yeah.
And then tunes in, and then he fucking tunes in on his apartment and knows exactly where to go. And I know that I've seen it in the comic. I don't think, and I know that I think they did that in the Ben Affleck movie, right?
No, well, no, I will say I think they did that in one of the earlier seasons in the Netflix series.
Oh, did they?
I'm thinking back to it. I think there was one where he hears floors away, an entire building away. I think so. I think they did that, but it's been a minute since I used it.
Okay, it's been a while, but it was nice to see it, and nice to see it so precise, and nice to see it in this awesome drag out Bullseye fight. I think I love this guy who plays Bullseye. I think this is an excellent version of Bullseye, and them together. That, as you said, that fight scene is fucking amazing.
Yeah, it's incredible. But then we get Karen. She goes ahead and she meets up with Kirsten, and they set up this online on a video, this video filmed confession from the first mate saying, "Hey, I got everything on it was linked to the Kingpin and stuff. Daredevil saved the day on the Northern Star, clearing Daredevil, linking Fisk to everything, and hey, the U.S. Marshals are going to take him into custody and they're going to protect him and all this other stuff." Yet we find out, though, Fisk knows what's up the whole time. He sees Buck, and he tells him, because Buck's like, "Hey, I'm going to stay here for protection." And he goes, "No, you got somewhere to be." Because Buck leaves to go ahead and to take down the U.S. Marshals and fucking murders the first mate at the same fucking time. So there that whole thing goes. So Kingpin leg up again. And I'd mentioned earlier the White Tiger's friend, passes on the disc to BB. And what was wild about this, man, is we get to the fight where Fisk is going to box this heavyweight fighter for charity in Fogwell's gym, which I want to say, that was Fisk sticking it to Matt and trying to really force the issue for him to come out.
Yeah, Matt says that too. This is him baiting me. He knows what this means.
Yeah, exactly. And that's all what that was. Because I was also thinking, if this were to happen in reality, where the mayor of New York City was going to have a charity boxing match, it would 100% be in Madison Square Garden. Thank you. You went. Yeah. All right, your mind went there too immediately. This would be in Madison Square Garden in 2 seconds, and it would be the hugest spectacle. Badass by I love the fact that we went there too.
Of course, where else would it be in New York? Come on, imagine Mayor Rudy Giuliani fighting Mike Tyson. Where would it be? It'd be Madison Square Garden.
Absolutely,
Come here, Mike Tyson. Come here, fight me. Sorry, Rudy.
Fisk having his hands taped and stuff, and is like, "Hey, you want a mouthpiece?" He's like, "Nah, he's not gonna lay a finger on me.
He's not gonna he's not gonna hit me." And he almost doesn't.
No, he almost doesn't.
Almost doesn't.
But Fisk is in the ring. He's beating the piss out of this fucking guy, and only gets briefly distracted when Vanessa shows up. And the guy lands a hit on him. And that was the cardinal sin, because you embarrassed me in front of Vanessa.
You do it so well, Nick. You do it so well.
You got to get the deep breath in there. It's just to kind of and you got to let it out, almost like you're losing breath as you're speaking. So that was the cardinal sin, and the guy gets fucking destroyed after that.
Oh, I don't know, I'm sure you noticed, but like in the background while Fisk is taking his victory lap, they're putting this guy on a stretcher.
Oh yeah, no, this dude is toast, and that's what happens when you land one shot in front of Vanessa. I wonder if Vanessa wasn't there, if he would have been so enraged, because he's so enraged to destroy this guy.
I don't think he would have landed that shot if it wasn't for Vanessa.
Oh, absolutely. I was just saying, hypothetically, if he did.
But hypothetically, nah, I don't think so. I think because I think Fisk would have been like, all right, whatever, he landed a shot. That's on me. But it happened in front of Vanessa.
So while that's happening, and so then we get like this bullseye burst in the door, starts taking everyone and their mother out, and Fisk's face drops because he's like, Vanessa's here. This is exactly like I have to protect her now. Like, what's there? And she reacts because she's like, fuck him. She pulls out a gun to shoot him. Okay. And then he kind of she tries to shoot him, and then Bullseye takes this glass statue to throw it, use it as a weapon against her, throws it at her. Fisk, who for some weird reason got this championship belt thing, that he uses. I didn't get that.
Like, what was that belt? I didn't understand that either.
I don't know. It was because this needed to happen. That's
fair
whatever.
enough.
It's fun. I'm good with it. I don't care about that. He waves the belt, shatters the glass thing, right? That is a New York born again thing, and part of the shard goes flying. Okay, and
I mean, you knew at this point.
You knew something. Yeah, there was a reason it shattered.
You knew where that shard was going. Like at that moment, I said, "Oh shit, he's gonna become unhinged."
And then at that moment, before we see where the shard goes, Fisk, tries to shoot. He pulls out a gun out of God knows where, and he goes to shoot Bullseye. But then Daredevil busts in, uses the billy club, knocks him away, kind of basically grabs Bullseye. They go crashing through the fucking front window of Fogwell's. And the AVTF is ordered because obviously, like, Fisk is furious. It's like, both of these motherfuckers are right here. Go after them. But then we catch them, we find out where the shard happened. And it gets Vanessa in the temple. And she's bleeding out, and Fisk grabs her. He starts calling for help. Fade to black.
Yeah. And I gotta say this. Because I watched so much TV.
Mm-hmm.
The second she came in with a white dress,
done.
I said to myself, that white dress is gonna be splattered in blood. I didn't know why. I didn't call her death then.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Who knows if she's dead? But I actually think she is, personally. But because I think Fisk is going to be unhinged. I think that's the point. But I saw that white dress, and I was like, blood's getting on that dress.
Yeah, I think she's dead. I mean, it could go with a coma or brain.
Maybe.
There's ways.
I think she's out of the show.
Which, on one hand, I'm like, all right, Fisk is going to get. We're probably going to see Fisk more unhinged than we've ever seen before.
Yeah,
like ever, and that's going to be crazy to see. Then on the other hand, she's such a great character.
I know
that it's going to be kind of suck to lose her. But
I agree.
Boy, I can't wait to see what the hell this next episode is going to bring, man.
But I think if she does die, it gives us he gets unhinged, and I think that's how a guy like Fisk loses.
He brings himself down. Yeah,
right. And isn't that what happens in the first season of Daredevil? Right? I mean, doesn't he essentially overreach? And I don't remember. I haven't seen that first season.
Yeah, I believe so. It's been a minute too for me. I haven't watched it since it was on Netflix because before we did the show, like I didn't
Oh yeah, right.
go back and rewatch like a lot of TV and stuff. Certain episodes I wouldn't mind popping in here and there, but I believe so. But because right now it's really hard for them to take him down, like as hard as they're trying.
No, because he's always one step ahead. And that's the point. When your enemy, when the bad guy, not just your enemy, when the bad guy, and Wilson Fisk is the bad guy here, is the law, and the law is protecting him, how do the good guys prevail? And that's what this is exploring.
Yeah. I don't know. So, whew, I can't wait for Tuesday night, man. That's gonna be something. For sure.
Yeah. I'm very excited. I'm very excited for I'm excited for all of these. I want to
Yeah, no, dude, like I said in the beginning, we're eating good right now, man. As comic book, TV show, movie fans and stuff, we live it up because for a few more weeks, these 3 shows are going to be running at the same time. And it's going to be absolutely glorious. But right after that, though, because I did want to get to this before we wrap up here, because we probably should have had it in the beginning. I did want to go over the trailer that dropped this week, which is for a show that's going to be airing immediately after Daredevil ends, like the next week. We're going to get this like immediately, and I think we're going to, for me, it's going to go into exactly where the heck he's been because they did kind of set it up in last episode. So let's drop this. Oh, whoops. Let me add it to the stage here, and I wanted to get your kind of reaction on this. Here's the trailer for The Punisher One Last Kill, which is going to be the Marvel special presentation that airs, debuts a week after Daredevil. So let's check this out.
Hey, Frank. How you doing, brother? Talk to me. Tell me what's going on.
Think God's gonna forgive us for the things we've done? I'm not sure about me. For you? You ain't got a fucking chance. That's all you got? That's all you got? That's all you got?
Wow. I think that looks great. I mean, I'm responding to the stylistic aspects of it because I have no idea what the story is, but I think that looks great. I mean, I'm seeing the Punisher punishing. I'm seeing it looks like there's some drama there. I actually really like Bernthal as an actor. I didn't know he wrote because he was credited as like writing part of this. Yeah. I got no complaints about this. This has made, as we always go, as a trailer, this has made me more excited to see the show.
Yeah, because I wasn't really sure what we were getting. I mean, I was excited that we were getting something Punisher on his own. But this looks nuts because it's only going to be an hour.
Okay.
So it's a mini movie that they have to communicate this entire story in one shot. Because to me, that's why I'm starting to think like this. Maybe this takes place in one day, and it's just one day in the life of Frank Castle with that, which could be a wild, no holds barred banana balls friggin' story, which is what I'm getting. I also would be, and again, we're also going to get Punisher in Spider-Man Brand New Day as well. So,
yeah, that's true. So maybe this is somehow related.
Yeah, it might be. Tim has got a comment over here. By the way, I did email him the link too. It looks like a video game chapter when the heroes in a dream cycle are hit with Scarecrow masks. Yeah, it could be. Maybe this is kind of like a dream sequence thing, but yeah, I don't know. My guess is it's going to be we're going to find out what the hell he's been doing, and this is kind of what he's been doing why he's not involved in this battle, with Daredevil and stuff like that. Whether Matt would want to help or not, because Matt's made it very clear he doesn't want this help. This is what he'd be doing.
Right. But I think you're right. I think this is going to be explaining, because I don't think he gives a shit if Matt wants to help or not. If he's there and he wants to help, he's going to help. And I think because he escaped, we expect him to. So I think, this is going to be explaining why he's not in this, which I'm fine with. I don't need him to be in this.
I agree. But I also, we're going to see plenty more Punisher stuff. I would love for them to kind of get a series going again, which could still happen.
I mean, that would be cool. I mean, again, I like Bernthal a lot. I think there's stuff to explore there. Like, there's a reason Punisher premieres as a Daredevil villain, right? Yeah. Because villains are very often the mirror image of their hero, right? Batman, Joker, Green Lantern, checks notes, Yellow Lantern.
Sinestro?
Yes, Sinestro, exactly. But it's Green Lantern, Yellow Lantern. Come on.
Yes.
But
Spider-Man, Venom, yes.
Right. But so that would make sense. And then him becoming more of an anti-hero, but he shares so many strands of DNA with Daredevil, like the darkness and all that. It makes sense for him to have his own show. Like they're kind of two peas in a pod.
Yeah, I would be really surprised that if they don't restart it or do more than this as well, because Bernthal's also apparently a huge Punisher fan, and it means that the character seems to mean a lot to him. So he's heavily invested in it. So he wants to, I would imagine we're going to see more of him past the special presentation and past Spider-Man Brand New Day. So
I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm excited for it, man. To me, I think we're going to get out of an hour, we're going to get balls to the wall, 45 minutes of just nonstop adrenaline, which is what I think a Punisher project should be.
I agree, and I think it'll also. I'm hoping, and I do think it will give us some character stuff too, because I think that's Frank Castle's an interesting character. That's what I love about these interpretations of these characters is they are interesting characters. There's rich material there.
Oh yeah, and don't get me wrong. Even from the trailer, you're going to see this flashbacks. He's dealing with his trauma and stuff like that. It has to do with it. But I just think that whatever it is, it's going to set him off, and he's going to be on the warpath for a lot of this. So there'll be a reason for the shoot him up and everything like that. So excited for that too. But all right, so then. That does it for us this week. Thanks for joining us as always. If you joined us on the Facebook live stream, be sure to check out Granny's Peach Tea's Facebook group, where there's a bunch of trailers and other stories that are shared that don't make the show. Sometimes we watch the trailers on the show. So check us out there. Check out Pop Culture Pros and popculturepros.com, because that's who we are presented by. On YouTube, subscribe to Pop Culture Pros. Watch all the cool shows that are on here, and wherever you found your audio-only podcast. We will be back next week talking more Invincible, more The Boys, more Daredevil. So come join us and continue eating good with us, all right? Peace.
Later, and Olympia Ducat.